asked by VNKTARUN, what's the most efficient way to recover from a hard ride? Well, good place to ask it right after talking about doing hard rides. Actually, there are several things that go into this. The most basic things, which you're all very familiar with, is number one is nutrition. You've got to replace the calories that were used up, so that's got to be done immediately after a hard ride. Also, fluids. We need to get some fluid back into our body to replace what was lost. Then there's the next one, which is making sure you stay off your legs as much as possible, so you can come back again the next day and be ready to have another ride again. So staying off your legs is important. I've always told the athletes I coach that, you know, if you can lean against something, don't stand. If you can sit down, don't lean against something. If you can lay down, don't sit down. So that's kind of the pecking order. If you can get off your legs and give your legs a break, any way you can do it is good for coming back the next day and so recovering, so you can do a workout the following day. But the single most important thing is you've got to sleep. That is the most important thing. And it's unfortunately the one that we tend to get wrong the most often, I've found with athletes. We try to fit too many things into our lives every day. Consequently, the thing we give up is sleep to fit in these extra things, whatever they may be. So you've got to get sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, then everything else is really kind of inconsequential. We more than likely, so I always ask the question, how much sleep do I need? It's a little bit of a hard question to answer, again, because we're all unique individuals. But I would say roughly around 7 hours or more is what most humans find is beneficial. And the younger you are, if I'm talking to a teenager, it's more than 7 hours, probably more like 9 hours, 10 hours a night. And as you get older, you can find the number goes down, but around 7 hours is probably the lowest number we should be aiming for. So if you've had a hard workout and you're tired, certainly nutrition, fluids, staying off your legs is important. But number one is you've got to get some sleep. Okay, at Fancy Apache asks me, how do you know if you're overtrained? Well, that's a good question. Many athletes are overreached, but not overtrained. In fact, if you're not overreached means tired, periodically tired, but you recover. If you're overreached, that's necessary to become more fit. The problem with overtraining is it's one step beyond that. You do not get rid of your fatigue. You're always tired. You go to bed at night, you have a hard time sleeping, more than likely also. And when you wake up in the morning, you're still tired. You have a hard time getting out of bed. That is the classic sign of being overtrained. So it's not something you want to try to get through. You don't wake up in the morning every day and say, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, and then go out and do it. Take time off. Do not do this to yourself. You may also want to go to your doctor if you find this is happening. If you find you're tired every day and you just can't make yourself do things like get on the bike and work out, there's something else going on perhaps. Lyme disease is one of the examples of this. If you have Lyme disease, it gives you almost exactly the same feeling as being overtrained. You're tired all the time, low motivation, you're grumpy, all these things. And there are other ailments also that we experience that are much like overtraining. So you can't take this whole thing haphazardly. You can't say, well, I'm just overtrained, that's all there is to it, and then go on. It's not that way. If you really suspect you're overtrained, go see your doctor. You need to get some blood tests done. You need to find out what's going on, because there's something happening, and it may not be because you ride your bike too much. But more than likely, you're really not overtrained, you're overreached. And you just need a couple of days off and see how things go after that. Claudio Mercurio asks, Joe, do you have any idea when the ASSIOMA SPD SL version will be available? Well, Claudio, I'm interested in that also, and I think we all are. My understanding is that Favero is working on this and has some plans to announce someplace down the road, still working on the details. But So we're trying to become compatible with Shimano road components. Best I can suggest is stay attuned to social media. Follow Favero to find out when they announce it. You'll be among the first to know, because that's how it'll come out. Stay tuned to them on Facebook, Twitter, and so forth, so that you know what's going on with their product for the future. But I'm looking forward to finding out also. Scoundrel asks, how should I train after reaching 60 years of age? You came to the right guy. I've been there for some time, so I'm way beyond 60 now. But let me just suggest that there are some things that do need to change, and you've probably already discovered these things. What's happening to your body is one of the key things, one of the first things we notice is it takes longer to recover. When we were younger, I can recall when I was in my 20s, I could do hard workouts and the next day come back and do it again. In fact, I ran track in college when I was in my 20s, and the coach had us do unbelievably hard workouts 5 days a week. And so you had to come back every day ready to do something really hard again. And I was able to do that. At 20 years of age, you can handle a lot of stuff. At 60 years of age, that's different. You can no longer come back and do the same extremely hard workout day after day, 5 days a week. So recovery becomes the main issue that we've got to deal with. So I would suggest a couple of things. Number one is, if you're beyond the age of 60, that you train in 3-week blocks. So you train 2 weeks hard, whatever hard means for your way of training. And then you take about 3 to 5 days after that to recover. And I don't mean necessarily take time off, just back off. Make the workout shorter, make the workouts less intense. But take 3 to 5 days, and then you should be ready to start your next block of training. So that way of training kind of gives your body this opportunity to get recovered from where you've been after a couple of weeks of really hard efforts. Also, I would suggest that you have that you only do 2 hard workouts a week. I would suggest that's extremely important at this level. 2 hard workouts a week. And between those 2 hard workouts, you should have 2 or 3 days of easy workouts. So let's say you do a hard workout on Wednesday, then you take Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and you go easy, and you come back on Sunday and you go hard again. That'll be 2 hard workouts in a week with 3 days between them. And the next hard workouts, you'll have Monday and Tuesday to recover before you do the Wednesday workout. So you get 2 days there. So you're getting either 2 days or 3 days to recover. And if you do that, then the quality of your hard workouts goes up. And that's what we're really trying to do here, is we're trying to make sure the quality, the high intensity workouts are quality efforts. They're not something that you're doing with fatigue. If you're doing those workouts fatigued, you're not going to get the full benefit out of them. So if you're over 60, it's really the same thing as for athletes of younger ages. The best way to measure your intensity is with power. And having an accurate power meter is going to be something that has a lot to do with measuring the intensity of those 2 hard workouts a week that we're doing. So a good power meter is critical for making sure we're measuring the power of your 2 hard workouts a week.